Hello. In today's video, I'm going to replay the very first Game Jam game that I ever made. I consider Negotiator my first real game, but technically I released this game before Negotiator. It's just a jam game. Let's go to the page really quick and see this was made for Wowie Jam 4. Your ship AI wakes you up to deal with a problem, and I did recycle a little bit of old code. I modified a picture from textures.com, which is what I used for the spaceship whole texture there, but I modified it pretty significantly. And I used a picture of the gun from Unsplash to texture the guns in the game. And then I did make the model of the ship on the menu a while back when I was doing daily art. Free font, and I used some Amplify animation packs, but everything else was made from scratch during the jam, and that includes the sound effects and the music. It includes these ugly-ass alien dudes that I sculpted during that time and rigged and everything. As I recall, it was a 3-day jam, and now let's hop into it. So here's the menu. You can probably tell there's some Mass Effect inspiration in here, both from the kind of like hyperspace travel thing, and the music that I made for this is also pretty Mass Effect inspired. Let's hit play.
Good morning, Captain.
I should make sure OBS is recording. Yes, it is. Okay.
I
Oh, I should make sure I am not blocking the whole screen too. There we go. So yeah, you know, you're in chiropod stasis on like a really big journey, and your ship AI wakes you up. Now this is actually technically a branching decision. You can head that way if you want, and you'll get your ass handed to you because you haven't grabbed a gun. So I'm gonna grab this gun.
You've picked up a weapon. Good job, Captain. Captain, the reactor core was damaged in the attack. I'll need your help to repair it. Reactor core containment failure. You must. Captain, sensors are detecting multiple
Oh no,
enemies.
we're being boarded by enemies. How surprising and shocking. Um, you can probably tell the gun sound. Hopefully you can't tell. The gun sound is partially composed of mouth laser sounds, and obviously the aliens dying when you shoot them and they explode is me going like. Oh shit, they're shooting me. And the the whatchamacallit, you can tell this is old because I didn't give them spacesuits because I wasn't as comfortable modeling clothes and stuff back then. I didn't quite know a good workflow yet, so I had done like a few clothed characters by then, but yeah, it wasn't like hadn't spent a lot of time figuring that out yet. So
Hacking the enemy systems.
so they're just naked aliens. So you know, it's a really simple game, honestly. Super fast. But you know, there are some like funky bits. There was a bug with shooting where some players weren't able to shoot as fast as they were able to, which none of the playtesters before the jam period told me about, which was a little frustrating because it made the game basically unplayable. But yeah, and then there's a problem also where you can't. Your cursor is locked. You have to press Alt F4 to close it. If you decide to play it, that shouldn't be an issue because I'm gonna do a web build really soon. Let's just hop into the editor here. Here's the ship from kind of outside, but looking in. Obviously, you know, I knew you were never going to see the outside of the ship, so its faces are just, you know, you flip normals essentially, right? And then you can still see everything from the outside in level editor, really nice, but on the inside it's all fine. You can see the way that I did this back then. I didn't know about Unity events yet, and also Unity, this was version like 2020 or 2019 I was using, I think, and I don't think they had added the ability even for Unity events to do an audio source play if I had even used Unity events for it back then. So the way that I did this was I had all of these level triggers. I tried to keep things organized. And this is super old, don't judge me too bad, right? But I have all these level triggers, and basically everything is a box collider set to is trigger. You can you go in, and then I just have this one-off audio script that I ended up using a lot. And it's got a list of game objects that are serialized both for disable and enable. And so you walk through, and in our canvas we've got the subtitles, and then it enables that one, and that's just a Text Mesh Pro text component and an audio source attached to it that has play on wake. So that's just how all of the event sequencing happens. That's how it knows how to play what, when, and where. And essentially the same thing for like once you get through here, it turns that on. And then I think over here it's just a trigger, except the trigger script has, and I don't know that I can find it over here, but the trigger script is pretty dang similar. So it was a lot of very tedious dragging and dropping game objects basically to make them enable and disable, but it ended up working out well in the end. But yeah, that is Starship in Peril that was made for Wowie Jam 4. It was my first Game Jam game. One other thing to mention about this was it was actually my first time making, because obviously before even this I was working on Jedi Game, which obviously I never released, and I was wondering when I was working on that if it would have been a lot better to just kind of use Blender as a level editor, and so I tried that workflow out for this. That's the thing about game jams, is you get to try out all the ideas that are just kind of floating in your head in a very non-committal way. It was the same thing with like that event trigger system and stuff like that. Had kind of been floating in my head a bit, and I just wanted to try it out. So the whole level is constructed here in Blender, including down to like the point of the lights, right? There were a few things that were separated out into different models that I placed manually. Like you can see all the cryopods that are missing, those were different models. And then the same thing for the doors, I made that a prefab because that's a dynamic thing. But here's, if you press Shift tilde on your keyboard, Blender lets you go into this walk mode, right? And then you can press Tab to enable gravity, and I landed on the other side of that. But when you do this, you can just walk around in like a first-person perspective, right? And Blender's default units are identical to Unity's default units. So when you walk around in walk mode in Blender, you are gonna get the exact same. This is like the normal 6-foot tall capsule in Unity, so it's perfect for testing. And then you can just drag and drop it into Unity, and the scale is already perfectly set up. You don't have to change anything. The .blend file automatically gets imported. It is just like the smoothest workflow. Usually importing it can be kind of like a pain in the butt in a lot of game engines, but not in Unity with Blender. Like it just works, and it's so nice. And I love building levels like this because I can work really fast in Blender. I probably couldn't have done this with Pro Builder. Maybe somebody could have, but like yeah, I couldn't have. And again, this was 3 days during which I did the level, and I also sculpted the alien bad guy, and I did all of the code. And this was long before I was like competent coding, if I can even be considered competent coding now. So that was the biggest struggle. That, and also was in the middle of a heat wave, and I decided to record all those audio lines, and of course I had a fan or an air conditioner going, but then I had to turn off the air conditioner in order to record voice lines. And then also my neighbor was making a bunch of noise, so that was a pain in the ass. And so the next few games that I made after this, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna voice them because like that was such a pain in the butt. But yeah, that was Starship in Peril, Wowie Jam 4. you know, there's issues with it. Obviously, it's my first game jam game, right? I've done many since that are better, but also often have issues because hey, they're game jam games too, right? Um, I plan to do videos on them eventually. This one, Oh No Mutants, that was the biggest fucking shit show of any game jam I've ever had, and partially from like an organizational problem. Uh, Mostly because of an organizational problem with the people that hosted it, Scorespace, I think. They they put the wrong theme up first, and so I was working on the other theme that they had said won their vote for the first day before I went and found that they had changed the theme. And so, yeah, after that, after not doing great in both of these jams, um, I discovered how important it is to join the Discord for every game jam that you join. You're not gonna get important information like that, and also you need it to like kind of market, you know, post progress and get people excited about your game, especially like not to toot my own horn or anything, but because I'm kind of a better modeler than most people who might be doing a game jam, especially people who are doing it solo and who are also coding. I feel it's kind of important for me to like get into that community and show in progress models, because so many people just use assets from the Unity store, and I think a lot of people assume that I do, but I don't. Um, and if you think that I do, then it's like, well, you had 3 days to code. Why is this shit? But it's like I was making shit too. It's modeling. So, anyways, I've been rambling for a hot minute now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube shit. And I hope you have a fantastic day or night, whatever it is. I don't discriminate against times. You know, you could be in GMT -7, you could be in PST. It's all good. And have a good one. I already said that. Bye.